here's the radiator. Looks pretty beat up on this side. Insert a few moments later meme. Wish me luck, guys. We are getting stuck, but we are not giving up, right? I'm going to remove the upper radiator hose. Inspect it and see if you need to replace it. Looks pretty good. There's no swelling in the hose noted, so far so good. May need to replace it at some point, but not right now, so we're gonna kink it backwards like this. Looking down, we need to disconnect this harness here that powers the cooling fan. Overflow hose needs to be removed. Okay. And you can just pull that off here. Pull that back. So these bushings are not too bad on top. There's maybe a little bit of dry rot on top here, but it's pretty snug, so that's not worn out. I'm gonna keep this one. We'll do the same thing on the other side here too. Ooh, got a crusty one here. And then we need to do one more down here. Okay, so now this guy's free. So now what we're doing is we are going to remove the shroud, okay, along with the fan. The fan is actually kind of attached, so, and it's the same order we'll be reinstalling it too. We want to keep the AC condenser fan sort of inside of this assembly here, so I'm going to attempt to pull that up, and it pops off. Looks like it's still attached somewhere in the bottom. Gonna need to separately lift them. So the fan comes up first. I'll try not to ruin the fins on the AC radiator. All right, here comes the fan. Comes the sunshine, do-do-do-do-do. Okay, now this is what it kind of looks like. So the shroud is ready to be lifted up now. So I'll make sure we do it gently. So this fan shroud consists of two pieces, and I'll show you once I pull it up. But you disconnect the lower piece under the car, and then you can just pull up the upper shroud. Okay, while keeping, so there's another little piece on the bottom that connects it. Okay, and that's what it looks like. All right, here's the radiator. Looks pretty beat up on this side, so I better make sure that when that shroud goes back in, I don't damage the fins. So I'm not reducing the capacity of cooling, but you can see just along the line all that leaking that took place from the top. So now we need to undo the bolt here, a 10 millimeter. We need to undo one on the other side here behind it. Take this bracket off, and then the radiator will be loose. Best to have one that's a ratcheting one, but I don't happen to have one right now, so we're going to use the manual method. Maybe at it for a while. Insert a few moments later meme. Again, this bushing doesn't look too bad. Little dry rotting on there, a little cracking, but it's pretty tight, so it's not loose. No need to replace that. Getting there. We just need to release this little nut. All right, this is great. It's almost Halloween weekend, right? Today's October 28th. We're in Northern Illinois, where sometimes the temperatures drop down to 30 degrees in the morning. We have an ice cream truck cruising the neighborhood. How fun is that? Got La Cucaracha playing. So for some reason my radiator is draining really slow. I recommend the first thing to do is to take off that skid plate and go ahead and drain the radiator. While that's draining, you're gonna have less of a mess on your hands when you're removing it. So while you're draining, you can loosen the rest of the nuts and bolts. That would be the most productive way to do it. You don't want to undo the bolts and then drain the radiator because you're going to wait a long time. All right, so the radiator is loose. Don't forget to disconnect the lower radiator hose, that guy right there. There's a clamp, so disconnect the clamp, take off the hose, and Houston, we are ready for liftoff. Okay, now the key is to gently lift the radiator from its little resting spot here. It's gonna come up with a mount. There are two mounts on both sides here. Okay, I feel that I just lifted it, tilt it a bit, drain it a bit. There we go. We need to release the radiator so you're not pulling it up with the AC condenser. So it looks like we are free from the AC condenser now. Okay. So now the AC condenser is hanging loose. All right, so it looks like I have the radiator separated from the AC condenser, but the radiator or the AC condenser is resting on the radiator's support. So if I remove the radiator, the AC condenser is just basically hanging by these tubes. So I think I'm going to use some zip ties to tie these up to the radiator support so the AC condenser is not, these lines are not stressed. I don't want them to hang on just these lines. So I just MacGyvered a little zip tie here so it's not hanging. Well, it's hanging, but and then I got a little hook over here as well, so that way the rad is not, the condenser is not hanging loose. Well, we are about to do a lift off here, so wish me luck, guys. Wise men tell me you have to wiggle, wiggle. So that's what I'm gonna have to do. Try to wiggle, wiggle without ruining the AC condenser. Some of these lines are pretty tight. Okay, here we go. We are lifting. We are getting stuck. But we are not giving up, right? All right, that's it. She is out. So here's my dilemma. The new radiator from Rad. Okay, it looks practically identical to my old one. I know it looks pretty beat up, but check it out. Mine is a manual transmission, so it has no ports on the bottom here for cooling the transmission. And this one has the ports. So I need to figure out a way how to, because these caps are not gonna hold up to the pressure and the temperature. So these are just little plastic, little doodads. They're not gonna hold up. So I need to figure out a way how to either get a radiator for a manual transmission or figure out a way how to plug him.